What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Austin Silver. For those of you who are new, do me a favor, hit the red subscribe button, join the family. That way you don't miss any of my trading recaps, trading videos, all of my fun educational content. I want to get it all to you right away. So make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Now, today, we're talking about Euro JPY and GBP NZD, my two live trades this morning. Today ended profitable, but it was a tough one. Tough for some, but I'm going to explain to you why I was able to still pull profit even after taking a loss early this morning on GBP NZD. A big loss, 32 pips. How did I bounce back? How did I stay focused? Well, if you stay through to the end of this video, you're going to see clips of how the trades progressed, all three of them this morning, the two winners and the loser, and what I was thinking in the live market this morning. I'm going to show you the live reaction that I had. That way you can learn from it, and then we're going to come back at the end of this video and tie it together with a few lessons. So let's get ready to the clips. All right, guys, it is 7:35 now. As you can see, still chopping in this trade at high of day, but moving higher, still making higher lows. I'm down about 5 pips here on Euro JPY. I also just entered GBP NZD long. Now this one's pulling back on me. With this pair, you gotta trade it smaller as far as size because it's very volatile. So I have to give it the space to pull back, which means that I'm gonna have to take a smaller lot size position because the stop loss is gonna have to be bigger. But I still believe that GBP NZD is gonna come higher today. As you can see, we've only moved 65 pips today. ADR is 192. We have over 100 pips left of potential move in this pair if we can break out past the Asian high. The same thing is getting in the way of Euro JPY. If we flip over the chart, the Asia high price, the pin from Asia high here is what we're having issues with. Let me make that bigger so you can see it. Big and red, look at this. This is where we're having a lot of issues right now. Here, you'll see it like that. You can see, hit it, bounced off it, pinned it, bounced off it, pinned it, bounced off it. 3 times now we're hitting this high, but still looking like we're gonna break past it. Again, flip over to GBP NZD, you're gonna see the same thing. If we put a vertical line here at the high of day, look at the resistance to that high, still chopping underneath that Asia high. But if we can break out on both of these, then I'm gonna make money on both of these trades. Both are gonna break out past Asia high and continue higher from there. So, like I said, it's 737. Both trades I am negative on right now, just barely on Euro JPY. I'm down a little bit more on GBP NZD, but I'm still confident in these. I'm following the plan, not breaking any rules, using discipline to manage these trades properly. So, let's give it some time. Let's see how these play out. Euro JPY is coming back up now, 119.21. GBP NZD coming back up, 196.14. So we're getting there. I think we just need to give it more time. We have no high impact news today. Nothing to get in the way, maybe shaking these trades around or anything like that, at least on our scheduled news roll. If you look over here at Forex Factory, nothing high impact today. And that's important. That should keep us solid in these trades here this morning. So like I said, it's 7:37. I'm going to give these more time. Euro JPY really looking good, like it's going to break out of this pennant, and GBP NZD continuing to test that high, looking like it's going to push higher as well. I think they just need some more time. So let's sit in it, let's follow the plan, and I'll check back with you guys maybe around 8 o'clock if something's happened, or maybe closer to 8:30 depending on when things start to shake out. So I'll keep you posted. Thanks for being here as always. All right, guys, so it is now 7:46. I want to let you know what's going on here with the trade. So I was stopped on GBP NZD for about a 30 pip or so loss. With a pair like GBP NZD, you have to account for volatility. So something that we do, that we teach in our system, is that we grade our trades. To start off with the analysis of this trade, we would grade it at least a B. Really, it's probably a C setup. The reason for that is two things mainly. One, we're still trading inside the initial Asian range. Now, if you've taken my course, you know what that means, but if you don't know what that means, it's a range created in the first 8 hours of each trading day. So if I draw a box here to 1 a.m., that creates our Asian range. And you can see, since we set that initial low and initial high here, we've been trading in between, chopping in between. The best trades that we find are outside this Asian range after we've seen that the pair can still make moves today. Because what it's kind of telling us here is that it already made its move here during the New Zealand session, during the Asian session, because we're looking at GBP NZD. So that was the first thing. The second thing was the divergence. You see the purple diagonal line here. Price action was rising slightly here, and especially at the point of my entry, it was the highest body close of the day so far, but the RSI was falling. So those two things together would make it at least a B, probably a C setup on this one today. And that's why I sized down in it, only risking 1%. Very, very small risk on this setup, but the potential for me to go get 3, 4, or 5R on this was there, and that would be a nice 3, 4, 5% winner. Now, Euro JPY, I adjust lot size. Now here, your stop loss is not 30 pips. Here, my stop is only about 15, 16 pips away. This is actually a little bit lower than it really is. So The reason here that we can take a smaller stop is because this pair does not move as much. Now, this again is not an A setup just like GBP NZD was, not. They're both subpar setups, so they are not full size, but here the lot size is bigger because the stop loss is still smaller. And that's what you get when you base your risk on percentages, not fixed lot size or anything like that. Fixed lot size is too risky because every currency exchange rate, every currency pair is traded differently. You get different dollar for pip valuations. So when you're looking at a pair like Euro JPY versus GBP NZD, your size can be bigger in Euro JPY because your stop is going to be smaller, but you can still be risking the same percent. So I'm only in at 1% here as well. So even if I lose this trade, I'm only down 2% on the day, but we're in profit now, just up a couple pips, just about 2 pips. So I'll keep you posted on this trade. I'm going to keep looking at GBP NZD. Maybe it gives me an opportunity to make some money back, but I wanted everyone to take note of why they weren't great setups on both EJ and GN, why you got to follow the plan, and why you got to follow the size and the risk management plan as well. That's a very important part of the plan. So I will come back on maybe 8:15, keep you guys updated on this trade, and we'll see how things play out. All right, guys, so it is 8:11. We're starting to get some movement here, so I want to update you again. I've made some changes. I brought my stop loss up a little bit here on Euro JPY. I like what it's doing, and I actually added to my position. You can see in front of you, I have 2 black dotted lines now because I like what it's doing, and I wanted to add a little bit of size here. So now my overall risk in this position is 1.5%, not just 1%. So I added 0.5% here as the trade's starting to look good, just because I do believe in it. If we flip over to GBP NZD on the MetaTrader here, you can see I'm in profit here on my second position. This has a pretty big spread. It's jumping between, you can see 5 pips there, 4 pips, 3 pips. It's jumping all over the place. So I wanted to account for the spread, but I really, really liked still the long bias here. I liked what it was doing. And now you can see up 6 pips, you can see it starting to move. Once this thing picks up, we could easily see 40, 50, 60 pips out of this thing. Only my thought mainly on that is only because of ADR. It has so much space left still. The 10-day ADR, like I told you already, is 206. Today we've only moved 65. So if this is the breakout, you can see here GN on the 1 minute starting to get some push here, back up into the buy zone, back above the EMAs. Here on the 5 minute coming off the 50 EMA really well. If we can start to actually have our breakout here, I'm not going to get too excited about it yet, but if we can actually start to get that breakout here, there's plenty of space for this thing to move higher. So again, I'm long GBP NZD again, same size as before. I'm added now a little heavier in Euro JPY to see this thing come higher as well. 5 minute looks really good here. We look to hopefully go close for a new high a day here in the next few minutes. So we're approaching 8:15, no high impact news imminent or anything like that. So I'm going to give everything time, but as things are starting to move in the right direction here, I wanted to add to that position on GN, add to the position on Euro JPY, and update you guys. So now that you know where I'm at, long GN, long a little bit heavier on EJ, we'll give them both some time and we'll see how things play out. All right, guys, it is almost 8:30. Just wanted to tap in, make a quick update for you. So I closed half of the GN trade, covering some of that earlier loss because we reached 1R. If you've seen my trades before, if you've seen the way that I trade, part of my system is that I like to lock my winners. Now, this moved 1R, so what I do is I close half the trade on my phone, on my computer, whatever I prefer to do, and I move the stop loss into profit so that I can't lose any money. With this pair, just a second ago, the spread opened up to 6 pips. It can get very volatile. So just as easily as this can shoot higher to me and go make me 100 pips today, it could open up its spread and spike me out down. And I want to make sure that even if it does that, I still lock the winner. For whatever reason, if that's a, maybe breaking news shoots it down, I want to get out of the trade. I don't want to hold on to it through that maybe breaking news event or whatever may happen. So that's why I like to lock my winners. Now, flipping over to, so this is turning out to be a good trade. Flipping over to Euro JPY, you can see I'm down about 4 pips in both positions. It's chopping its way sideways. I'm not giving up on it yet. I did move the stop a little higher, like I told you in the last clip, just because I want to make sure that I'm not giving it the opportunity to continue lower, but I'm still seeing signs of it wanting to come higher. It can't break the 200 EMA to the downside. It can't close under the 21 to the downside. So it's showing me that it's having issues moving lower. If we flip back to TradingView, I want to tell you another reason why I closed a little bit of GN here. You can see I drew a red horizontal line at the Asia high, the pin high of day. Reaching that point, we know that that's been strong resistance all day. So reaching that point in the trade, I want to make sure that I'm locking some of it. It happened to be that that was just about 1R. And now what I can do is just give this space. If we go to the 5 minute, we can look at it, give this space to hold the 8 EMA and see if it's going to extend itself higher past the high a day into more profit for me. So I'm going to give GN more time. I'm getting frustrated with EJ a little bit, but as you can see, look at the 5 minute, higher lows, TDI in the buy zone. So everything's still telling me to stay in the trade. I'm going to give it time. I'm working my way back now, just down about 15 or so pips, me doing rough math, because I lost about 30, covered about 15, maybe a little bit more on that GN there, and I still have some GN in, so we'll see. We should still be able to end the day blue and fight our way back here, covering that loss. My win streak had to end at some point, but that doesn't mean I need to end the day red. I'm going to really be patient here with this GN trade because, as you can see, look, it's starting to push here. It's got a lot of space left, and if it can move, I want to be involved in that. I don't want to come back here later today and make a video for you guys and be like, oh man, I didn't stay in the trade long enough. No, I'm going to follow the rules, be disciplined with the entire trade as I was waiting for it and once I'm in it. So it's 8:30. I'll come back in a little bit, keep you guys posted on the trade. Things are looking decent. EJ's coming back up, just down about 1 pip there. Up about 18 pips on GN right now. So we'll give it some time and I'll check back in a bit. All right, guys, it's 9 o'clock now. I'm up about 13 pips, 12 pips. It's moving pretty much between positive 10 and positive 15 over the last 15 minutes, but now hopefully as the New York session really starts to get kicking, 9 o'clock here, we're going to start to see this thing kick even higher. So GN up about 13. If we flip over to EJ, you can see both of these positions up about 6 here. So again, not a lot of movement on this pair yet, but we are finally in profit. So seeing the trade develop the way that we wanted is always a good thing. I think we now have to really focus on emphasizing the patience in the trade, just like we were patient when it was a loser, just like we were patient when we were waiting for it to set up. At all those points, we're being patient. So why not be patient once we're in a winner too? Here on the 5-minute, if you're looking at GN, we're holding the 8 EMA, retested the 21 from the entry point, but holding it well. So structure looks good here, TDI looks good. I think, the one thing in our way here is this red horizontal line, which is that Asia high. If we can get through that, we're going to keep moving higher. Euro JPY, you can see structure's holding, making higher lows all morning. We're still outside the 8, so no exit signal here either. I think, again, it's just about being patient right now. So it's 9 o'clock. Let's give these some more time. I'll keep you guys posted, but GN's looking really strong. I think we're going to be able to get a good trade out of this one if I can hold in here. All right, guys, just want to tap back in with you here. It's almost 9:10. The trade is moving even more here. We're up 27 pips on the 50% of the original size that we still have in here on GBP NZD. So this looks really, really great. And finally getting a little bit more movement here on Euro JPY, up about 11 pips in both positions almost here. So both trades moving in profit. Even though I got stopped early on GN, staying with it, staying focused, is I'm still going to end today blue. I'm 100% sure of it. So now with GN continuing higher, almost at 30 pips here, I'm going to get ready to close whatever I have left of this trade here to make sure that we end blue, following the proper risk reward of my system, reaching that 2R. After taking that first loss, you want to make sure you're putting money in the bag and taking winners home. So with 5 minutes or so left here in the candle till 9:15, I'm going to let it push, let it build, and then we're going to see where we can close here at 9:15, and then we'll look to manage GN, maybe closing it, maybe moving the stop up depending on how much momentum we get. We know that this has a lot of push left in it still, and then with Euro JPY here, getting ready to just take my winner here. I don't want to marry this thing too long, even though it's still telling us outside the 8 EMA that we should see push higher. So if we look at the 5-minute here on GBP NZD on TradingView, you can see good structure, holding the 8 EMA, making higher lows, higher highs, now breaking past that red horizontal line you remember from the Asia high. So now putting a clear body through that. We might retest it to confirm it as support, but I think that is a pretty good sign that we're going to move higher here as the day goes on. Euro JPY, same thing, holding the 8 EMA, things look really good. So I'm going to give it 5 more minutes. I'll come back on. If I end up making a move, maybe closing GN, whatever I decide to do here at 9:15, we'll adjust and we'll keep moving from there. All right, guys, it is 9:19. I just closed the remainder of my positions on GBP NZD and Euro JPY. Both of them ended in profit. I'm up 32 pips just about on the day here, and look what's going on here. GBP NZD is shoving back down. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm refreshing Forex Factory to see if there's a breaking news event or something like that going on down here, but I don't see anything yet. This is a volatile pair, and sometimes it moves like that, but I did really well to pull this thing in profit. My highest exit point on GN was at 46. The highest it went was 52. So I got a pretty good piece of that rip there, over 2R on my original risk from that position too, which is why I closed the trade. So a nice morning, a lot of action. So it's a good morning to be in the market, but even staying focused after that loss, after the 32 pip loss, you'll see it on the P&L right here, even staying focused on that to get back in GN and make the money back, make sure that I end the day blue, shows me that I'm really working my plan really well right now. And I hope that you guys can learn from me. Hopefully I'm leading by example, showing you that if you have a plan that's proven, and if the plan tells you that you can re-enter trades like this if you get a proper signal, and you have proven and tested signals in that plan, then more often than not, you're going to come out on top like I did here today. So even as volatility kicks up here, you can see GN moving back up after that push down. We're out of it. We already made our money. We don't have to worry about it. And Euro JPY still moving higher just as I thought. So both trades ending really well here today. Both breakouts on structure, and then continuing that structure throughout the morning. A little choppy on Euro JPY, but now as you can see, the bias always works. If you can stick in and you can be patient, the bias always works. So GN coming back up. If we have guys in this, I think Eric, Anthony, still looking at GN to come higher. EJ, I'm still in a little bit here. We'll let the rest of this run and we'll have ourselves a good morning. So I hope you learned something in today's video. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you guys are subscribed and I'll see you all in the next video. All right, guys, so you've seen the entire live trade. We went through all the clips. Now, just to sum everything up here, it's about 10 o'clock. We're headed into the midday session where the New York and London sessions are starting to wind down. Trading sometimes starts to slow up. I just want to recap these two trades with you here and show you how they played out. Now, number one, the first takeaway that I have for myself on this trade is that I could have done better with Euro JPY. I sat in it patient all morning, and I even said to you guys that patience was going to be key with this thing. I didn't hold in long enough, and I left money out on the table. I got most of the trade out at almost 1R. A little bit early, almost 1R. I should have been more patient, and I have to do better for myself to stick to my plan, to stay in these trades until the system tells me not to get worried about chop, because sometimes things are slower, especially on a day like today with no high impact news to really drive the market around. Sometimes the technicals will work just slower. So we got to keep that at the front of the mind. Plus here, you can see it goes 27, 28 pips from the entry. I mean, that's over 1R, almost to 2R. So again, leaving a little bit of money on the table there. I'm taking the lesson that I got to stick in it, got to read and react. And even here, look at the EMAs. It never breaks the 8, never breaks the 21. It shows a lot of strength. I just didn't have the patience for it. So I have to do better on that one. Now, we can flip over to GBP NZD. We can see I got out of this thing at a good point. I was out here before the pullback. It does come back up here, but news has been coming out. If you switch over to Forex Factor, you can see they had some oil news come out, some New York Fed breaking news come out. But both of those high impact events were not scheduled. So that does chop the market up sometimes. As you can see here, it's been a little choppy. So I think GN probably goes higher. But for me right now, I'm happy with my exit on that. I'm glad that I was able to stay focused after the loss, come back and make the winner there. But I think the main takeaway from the trade here, I did good to follow the plan as far as grading and proper risk management. That way I still ended profitable today. I did good to get back in GN after the loss. So you got to stay focused on that, sticking to the entry signals. Don't change your bias just because you lose. And I think the one mistake I made, the biggest mistake, was on the Euro JPY part of this trade, where I should have stayed in it longer, should still be in it with some of my position, honestly, with my stop loss locked in profit. So I'm going to take that and come back tomorrow, do better tomorrow, do better the next day because of this lesson. And I hope that you guys learned something here today too. If you watched all the way through, just know I really appreciate you watching the long video. I hope there's a lot of value. If you did watch all the way through, seriously, drop a comment, say, yo, I watched all the way through. That's all you got to say. And I will, when I decide to start giving out free t-shirts or something, because we're just so popping with this group, I'll make sure that you're the first people to get it. But in all seriousness, everybody, I hope that you learned something here in today's video. I hope that you can take a little nugget here, even from my mistakes, hopefully more than my winners. Now, make sure you're subscribed, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.